I say this in the nicest way possible, backwards. Hey, Taryn, thank you so much for coming on.
No worries. Thanks for having me.
Let's start with what made you want to get into the music industry, and what made you want to get in the music industry?
It's a funny story actually. I dated a DJ for a little while, and one night we were at the back of Candy's hotel in Sydney, and we were watching Bonker, and I remember watching them DJ, and I was like, I want to do that. I want to learn how to do that. So he was like, all right, I'll teach you. And then it kind of just stemmed from there. And then, ever since then, it's just kind of, just led me to where I am now, which, I'm pretty happy with at the moment, apart from the COVID thing. But that's how I started.
And how long ago was that, just to put in perspective?
That was about 2017, I think it was. So a little while ago. It was very pre-COVID. And I remember just going and watching him as well and being like, I want to do that. I want to be up on stage. I want to be doing what you're doing. So, that it was about 2017, I think it was.
And other than your ex, who else has been your inspiration of wanting to kind of do it? Like, who has been your motivation to continue to do it?
My motivation, I remember seeing, I think her name was Tori Clueless. I remember seeing her play one Halloween as well, and I was like, wow, that's pretty cool. Like, and other female DJs as well, like just watching what they do and how, they progress. It's really, I find that inspiring as well. I think what pushes me the most is probably I want to show, because I have a 2-year-old daughter, I want to show her that you can actually do it if you push yourself hard enough. Like you can do anything pretty much. That's one of my main motivations, is sort of showing her, oh, I can do this even though, I had you. So that's a big one. I think that's probably my main drive, to be honest.
Well, it's a big one, so.
Yeah, as well. I feel like there's a lot of males in the industry as well, and I find, girl power. I'm doing it for girls.
It is a very saturated market for sure for males.
Yeah.
How do you think you've come then to now? How do you think you've progressed?
Pretty well. Considering where I started, I've gotten to where I have, like, I'm pretty lucky. Everywhere I wanted to play, I've done it. I think it's just pure luck, a lot of it. But I moved to Newcastle and I played at the venues that I wanted to play by, I think, more persistence than anything. I just kept being like, put me on kind of thing. I'm here. Same with where I moved from, and ended up getting where I wanted to be just by doing that, being persistent, messaging, being like that annoying person pretty much.
You just need to be, though. It is a very saturated market, and it's also hard for new DJs to come in as well.
Yeah.
I feel like every second person's a DJ.
Yeah. Everyone can DJ. It's kind of, now I'm at the point now where I need to sort of start producing and making music and set myself apart and be like, okay, I can do other things, not just DJ, which I am learning how to do as well. But anyone can, you're right, anyone can be a DJ. It's, what makes you stand out. That's what makes you special. If someone looks at you and goes, oh, I like what you do, then you're in. And if you're good at it, then you're pretty well set.
90% of it's track selection. If you can get people dancing, most people don't have that. So yeah. But is production on the card for you?
It
like on the
is. It's
table?
very
Yeah.
much on the card. This year, I was very slack last year, I will admit, with everything. I think just with, being in and out of lockdown, that hit hard. So I sort of made myself a promise at the start of this year. I'm like, well, get into it. You need to put your head down and your bum up and push yourself a little bit harder, because you've gotten to where you have purely by just, DJing. What could you do next, if that makes sense? So what could push you past that point of just being just a DJ as well?
And do you have any doors in mind? Like any programs in mind, like Fruity Loops, Logic, any of those in mind?
Like the program I'm learning on is Ableton.
Okay.
I don't know if you've seen that
Yeah.
one. I've had it for a while. It's just been sitting there, and every time I open it, I'm like, oh my God. I've had a few friends sort of show me the ropes of it, and I've just started playing with it, and I'm like, okay, it's not as it's scary, but it's not as scary as it looks when you actually sit down and you sort of you go, okay, that's, if you learn how to mix and you can get up and you can mix on stage, I'm sure you can figure it out.
Do you have anything? Like, do you have any whips just sitting there? Like, have you worked on anything, or are you just like all just like?
No, not that I'm ready to show.
No, not yet.
Not yet. I'm like, if I'd have all my friends go, what is that?
Look, everyone starts somewhere.
You do. And I remember when I first started mixing and I was doing it, and my ex would look at me and go, oh, what was that? And I'd go, yeah, I don't know. I'm trying. And then, I got to where I was by just practicing doing that. So I feel like the time and practicing will definitely help. And I've got a lot of help as well, which is good. I've got good friends in the industry that are super, super, super helpful. So good.
And how was that learning experience? Like, because I know stepping up behind Cdjs, it's very daunting, especially if you have no idea what you're doing. But what was it like, one, the experience, and two, playing your first live set?
Oh, my first live set behind Cdjs. It was New Year's, and it was for Brooklyn, DJ Brooklyn.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember getting up there and just going, oh my God, there are so many buttons. Like, but once I was like, okay, these are just like my decks at home, just more buttons, basically. And then once I got into the swing of it, I was like, oh, this is fun. And now I prefer to play on the Cdjs than my little Nexus. Little ones. I'm like, oh, there's not enough to play with on here. So it was very daunting though. But like, I even still to this day, like, if you haven't, when you get to a nightclub and you're playing on their Cdjs for the first time, you don't know if they've got any little, what do you call it? Like the Q button might not work, or this doesn't work, or this is sticky, or this doesn't, and you kind of go, oh, and you get into it, and then you go, oh, this isn't working, that's not working, okay, cool.
And they don't mention any of these things beforehand. It's just like you get there and you hit the cue and you're like, where is the cue? And then like, oh, you got to hit it, like really hit it, and then you hit it.
You got to batch it.
Yeah.
Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. Sometimes it's like, may the odds be in your favor, and you just are like, yeah, okay, here we go. But most of the venues I play up here, they're pretty good with that kind of thing. If something's broken, they'll generally fix it, or we tell everyone to be like, oh, this isn't working. I think the worst thing that has happened to me is the press play and the Q button were both not working on one of my Cdjs. So that was the fun set.
How did you get that? How do you make that work?
Pray.
That doesn't sound viable at all.
I just kept loading it, and I can't remember what I did, but I loaded the track in and just went, okay, this is just going to work. And then I think I ended up using just the one Cdj on one side, just loaded it and faded it in and out, and I managed. It was It was messy, but it worked.
Yeah. Well,
Whatever works. There is a way to do it, but I can't remember how. But if I had push came to shove and I got thrown, I'd be fine. I'd be okay. I'd be like, okay.
well, these are all stepping stones to when you make it, and you'll never have to deal with that again.
Yes, that would be nice. But it is what it is. It makes it fun, makes it interesting.
Being a predominantly male industry, do you find it difficult being a female within it? Do you think it has its benefits or its disadvantages?
A bit of both. It can be good and bad. At times, I'm trying to word this the right way. Look, I've had my own experiences with male DJs and bigger male DJs, and it's kind of like, okay, just because you're a bigger DJ doesn't mean that you have the right to sort of speak to me that way or, you know, come across that way. I've had that happen a few times, but I think the biggest thing is just to sort of have a bit of a backbone as a female and don't sort of let, you know, how do I word this right? Don't let them walk all over you and tell you who you can and can't be. That's my biggest thing.
Yeah.
I found in this industry. I don't date other DJs after, you know, my ex, and that's a very big known thing for me now. So I'm good at being friends with everybody, so that's helpful as well. As long as you make that, like, setting boundaries, I would say, is a massive thing as a female DJ. Just be like, no, I'm not for that. And I'm very much like that. And I'm like, no, sorry, move along, kind of thing. And I think that's one of the most important things too. And, you know, the best advice that I've been given is don't sleep with your managers or the promoters or the nightclub owners to get to where you need to be. Like, that's huge.
Yeah, seems pretty big.
Yeah, no. Like, I sort of progressed in my, like, when my ex and I split up, I progressed further without him than with him, because I just went on my own. And for some reason, it was just easier being away from, you know, not having that mixture of, you know, relationship and DJing, like, and work. I seem to progress faster. So if that says anything, I mean, each to their own.
Yeah. Well, I'd assume he would have his ways on how he did it, and then you kind of made your own way, which kind of helped you a little more.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. For sure. It was a lot. I found it so much easier. And, you know, I find it when, like, I take on advice from the other male DJs, but I find talking to other female DJs as well has helped me progress as well. So that's important. That's another important thing that I sort of use. Yeah.
I do think it's great that the female community stands together. Like, they're very strong. Like, it's crazy. If you're a part of a female group on Facebook, I've seen, like, just on the inside, and it's just insane. The support is crazy. Like, it's more supportive than any other pages I've ever seen. And it's just sad that it doesn't quite show as much in the real world, if that makes sense.
I find it hard to trust other females who aren't really in that industry, if that makes sense. Purely because they want to be a friend because they want free entry or they want free drinks. It happens. Like, through COVID, I noticed that my so-called friends, I didn't hear from them at all. Like, I barely heard from them. And then when things picked up, it was like, oh, hello, how are you doing? And I'm like, okay, how about no? So, yeah, definitely in the real world, it doesn't. Yeah, it's sad. You know, girls should be supporting girls. You know, it's tough for us out here. It's tough, and I'm raising a little girl too, so you know, I have to teach her that certain things, you know, happen, and yeah, it's a bit sad, really. That
How
is
do
what it
you
is.
find that balance between like work, DJing, raising a child, and like, yeah, DJing? Like, where do you find the balance of all that?
Um, I I was out. This is probably going to sound really bad. I I went out DJing with her right up until I was 7 months, 8 months pregnant. So she was around music throughout my pregnancy. Um, she would literally just go to sleep when I'd be out. She just wouldn't move, and then I'd get home, and then she'd be like, "Yeah, rave time." And I'm like, "Yeah, no, no." Um, but it is hard, but I think the best thing that I've learned is routine, especially with her. So, you know, she does go to daycare as well now, which makes it a lot easier. I just allocate time with music and sit down and do it that way. But she also loves it. She loves when I'm at home just mixing. She'll, you know, stay around, she'll dance. We don't listen to nursery rhymes in this house. That's not a thing. There's no wiggles. It's all like my nightclub music, literally. And she loves it. Like, you know, I put like a mix on in the car and she like dances and she gets right into it and she's like, "Yeah, mummy, yeah." And so I feel like I'm lucky in that way. I think because she's just been around it, you know, even when I was pregnant, like it's just made it easy for me to find that balance with her. But I try and keep her away from the social media side. Like I don't really post her much unless it's like on my private page. Like I try and keep her just away. That's just something that, you know, I've always done. Like I don't want strangers looking at her.
Yeah.
Like some random thing like, "Hello." So, but yeah, it can be hard. But another thing too is that she goes with her dad on the weekend, so that makes it a lot easier for me to work. So I've got, you know, good support in that way as well from him. He's always been sort of supportive of my DJing and is happy to take her when needed, or he has her on weekends as well, so that makes it easy.
Yeah.
But yeah, she's definitely a little groover. So
Number one supporter.
yeah, she loves it. She even, you know, she wants to push the buttons, and I'm like, no, get those sticky fingers away. But one day, but not now. So yeah.
Where did your passion for dance music come from?
When I was younger, even teenage years, like young teenage years, I remember hearing it and going, "Oh, this is like, I like this." I was always the one with the iPod at school. Everyone would be like, giving their iPods to, being like, "Give me your music, give me your music." And I'm pretty sure my laptop was just riddled with viruses from, you know, downloading all that kind of music. And, you know, from LimeWire, I don't know if you're from that. Yep. And I'd have like the same song, but 4 different versions of it. And I remember my stepmom one day, she went through my iTunes library and she deleted, you know, all the double ups. And I'm like, but they're not the same. Like they're either like a mashup or a remix, or, you know, and she just didn't, she was like, "But I deleted it." And oh my God. So yeah, I definitely say from a young age, I remember hearing Joel Fletcher for the first time, his stuff, and going, "Oh my God, what's this?"
Like good old Melbourne Bounce era.
Melbourne Bounce, yeah, I went through that. I remember meeting him and I had no idea who he was. That was pretty funny.
That would have made him feel good.
No. He probably doesn't remember, but he's like, "Do you know who I am?" And I was like, "No."
Should I?
I remember also seeing I remember going to my first nightclub when I was really young and just seeing the DJs up there as well and just being like, what is this? Like, what is this music? How do I get onto it? How do I play it? How do I, you know, how do I get to there? That's what really sort of got me into it as well, just going out. And I love going out. I love partying. It's fun. It still is, or was fun.
Speaking of back in the day, how do you feel the music and the nightlife has progressed from then till now?
I would say it's definitely changed. It's a lot different to how it used to be. I know I found from, I would say, COVID to like before pre-COVID, I know there was just a whole different vibe. Like, I feel like it was, I don't know how to describe it. It was just patrons were different. The whole vibe was different. Everyone was just so, I guess, like happier. And I find coming back, now these patrons are really like nasty, I guess. Like it's strange. Like, I'm hearing people throwing drinks at bar staff and DJs, and I had never really heard of that happening back in when I was going out. Like, I would never dream of throwing a drink at a DJ. Like, I'd be terrified because, the equipment.
Well, let alone them being $17 a pop, but hey.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And especially when you're paying, you're like, I don't want to throw this $17 drink. Like, this is a lot of money right here. Yep. Like, I want to drink it. Yeah, I just find that it was just a different vibe. I don't know. I found that I had more, like, it's not that I don't have fun now. Like, I love going out. I love doing my job. I love playing. But I feel like it's just a whole different vibe. And, I don't know if it's just me getting older or, that could be a factor in it too, that I don't know anybody. They're all really young, and I'm going, this is a bit odd. I don't know any of you, but it's okay.
No, you are right. It doesn't hit the same anymore.
No, like, I just feel like the vibe is just off, Like, I can't find the right words to describe it. And over the past few weeks, I'm finding that people don't want to go out now because of all this COVID stuff, because they're scared that, they're getting COVID, and therefore the music industry is just slowly, it's dying, and it's sad. And I've noticed that too, like, coming back. Like, I remember how, full Candy's apartment used to be, and I don't even know if they're open anymore. Like, and
no, I don't think they are.
They are, and that's sad. Like, I remember I just love going there, and the Ivy. I just feel like it's all changed, but there's not a word to describe it, if that makes sense. I don't know. I think the last time I really, really had fun was pre-COVID. Like, I felt like it was a good time, not that it isn't now, but I just, that feeling you get. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it was picking up, and then COVID hit, and then it kind of just all vanished. Like before the Sydney lockdowns, it was great. Then when that happened, we kind of got to the other side, and then COVID happened. And then now we're kind of just standing with our hands in the air going, what do we do now?
That's it. That's pretty much where I'm at. Like, that's how I feel with it. It's kind of like, well, what now? Like, where do we go? How do we move forward? Like, what's going to happen to the music industry? Because so many festivals have been cancelled, and, nightclubs have had to close so many times. Like, you can only close so many times before you just go, we can't open again. Like, and that's the sad thing. And I feel like that's just what is going on at the moment. Like, I remember going out in Sydney, and there'd be, everywhere was open. You go from here, you go there, you go, and you just, the night would just flow, and everything would just be fun. Whereas it's now like, okay, well, they're closed. Oh, they're not open. What do we do now? Like, that's another thing I've noticed too, is that, because of the government, we've had, like, people close and then they don't open again, which is really sad.
Yeah.
So,
do you ever feel like you're going to be out of a job? Like, because you say job, but most people take it as a hobby, but you've been saying job ever since we started. So do you feel like you're going to be out of a job?
I am essentially out of my job at the moment. I'm lucky. I work during the week too. Like I have like a side hustle, I guess you'd say. But yeah, basically when COVID hit the first time, no job, no work. And then we came back, and then we went back into lockdown again, and I had no work. And I went, okay, I'm going to have to do something and get something else on the side so I can live, because otherwise I'm just not going to be able to. And I'm lucky this time. Like, essentially, I have that side job. But yeah, I do class it as one of my jobs. Like, it's, I did it full time for a little bit. And now it's like, when's the next set? When are we going to open?
Absolutely wild for someone to say, I'm a DJ full time and I have a side hustle for when I'm not making music. Like, it's never heard of. It's usually the other way around.
Yeah, no, I just thought with everything, I was like, I've got cars to pay for. I've got, child, mouths to feed. I've got to do something else on top of it. At one point I wasn't making enough where it was fine, and, it didn't matter. And then COVID hit, and now it's just back and forth, lockdown, And that's what kind of made me go, yeah, got to get something else. Because, I haven't played, gosh, I can't remember the last time I played. Like, I was supposed to support Tiger Lily last weekend, and, gone. Just like, and it can happen so quickly. Like, and that's the scary thing with what the government's doing. It's like, and they're not thinking, I feel like they're not thinking about us in a way, because this time there's no grant. There's nothing. I couldn't get it. I didn't qualify both times. So that was a struggle as well. But yeah, a lot of my friends who purely just do it are really struggling at the moment, which is, it's sad. It's sad to see.
Yeah.
Because
there is no support.
No.
It's literally you and your USBs just sitting in your empty, like in your room now. And
yep.
You're right. The government doesn't care about the live music industry at all, which is crazy, because it draws a lot of revenue for them with the alcohol tax and all the GSTs on the drinks. But hey, if they don't want to make money, they don't want to make money, I guess.
No, and that's exactly right. But it's, I feel like, for me personally, I feel like I lost a lot of my passion and my drive when we went to lockdown the second time. And I felt like with my mental health and everything going on, it just got so much worse the second time. The first time it was like, okay, this is probably just a one-time thing. The second time it was like, oh, this isn't a one-time thing. And now it's happened again. They've closed dance floors and everything. It's like, when are they going to stop? But, they allow the cricket, and you're allowed to get up and sing and dance at church. So what about us? Should we just start going to church?
Maybe you have to change up your playlist.
Maybe, change it up a little bit and start mixing. I don't even know. I feel like if I went to church, I'd burn down. But I'll start. Every time I walk past church, I'm like, yeah, not going in there. No.
It gives off an eerie vibe, doesn't it? It's like, ooh, something's going to get me.
Nah. I've seen too much for that.
Yeah.
So. No.
Where do you see yourself in 2022? Like, can you see yourself on the other side of this? Maybe an original release towards the end of the year? Like,
I'm hopeful. Yeah. Yeah. There's hope. It's hard. It's hard to be hopeful. It's hard to stay positive, if I'm being honest. But yeah, it's on the cards. I have like a lot of goals that I wanted to achieve last year that, didn't happen. And this year I want to really, really push it and try and get, music out there and see what I can do and possibly have something out by the end of the year. That's the goal, with everything. It's hard to stay hopeful when we've been through this multiple times. But yeah, I think the biggest thing is that the support group I have, the DJ friends I do have, we're all really supportive of each other. And I think that's why we get through it, to be honest.
Yeah.
Without them, I'd just be like, oh my God,
Well, there's going to be a certain time where the government's just going to say, fuck it, and then just let it all happen. Because they're kind of there now, but they need that little extra push of just like, let it happen. And
just let it happen. Just let it go. Come on. Just get it over with.
Yeah.
We've been through this multiple times. Like, how many times are you going to shut us down? They said to get vaccinated and this wouldn't happen again. So we all got vaccinated. Well, most of us did. And then it happened again. And now they're like, oh, you might have to have a booster. And I'm like, is this your plan? Like, I feel like this is not, I'm not a conspiracy person. I don't know anymore, because they're like, you do this and we'll open, and now they're saying a booster shot. And I'm like, why? What?
Yeah.
Why do we have to have a booster shot? Like, what's in this stuff? Like, I don't know about anyone else, but my God, I got sick.
The first AstraZeneca I got, it smashed me. Absolutely smashed. But the second one was pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel you. The first one, I felt like for ages I was on a boat. And I was like, what is going on? Like, I'm wobbling, and I'm like, yeah, no, this is not normal.
But yeah, I feel like you shouldn't need a booster if you get COVID, because there's apparently, I haven't looked up the numbers, but 1 million people affected in Australia. That's just the numbers I heard yesterday. I heard them. I didn't read them. I heard it from someone.
How? Like, I get how, but
yeah, it just doesn't make sense.
I don't know. I literally avoided the whole thing for so long, and then all of a sudden everyone around me had it. And I remember saying, like, to my partner, I was like, oh, we know no one that has COVID. And the next minute, everyone around us has COVID. And we're going, oh, this person's got it. Oh, this person's got it now. And we're just like, we've avoided it. We don't know touch wood. But in saying that now, I'll probably get it. But yeah, I've had to, I miss my sets on New Year's because of COVID. So it's just
never-ending battle.
It's just a never-ending thing. It's aggravating. Well,
you can look at all this downtime to maybe focus on Ableton. I don't know.
Yeah,
just spitting ideas.
that's the plan. Is put my head down, my bum up this time, and not get stuck inside my head as much as what I did last time. Like last time, I think it just took its toll. Being stuck inside the house, isolated for so long. Like, it was lucky I had my partner. Otherwise, I probably would have gone nuts. Like, I would have lost it. And even with him, I kind of lost it. So,
Yeah, you can only put up with the same person for a certain amount of time before then you start picking on all their small shit that they do that really annoys you. Yeah.
Oh yeah, we were very new too, so our relationship was like very, very new. So we survived lockdown.
Well then, yeah, you can survive the test of times then.
Oh, we'll see. No, I'm joking. No, it's good. It's good.
I've got 4 questions. I hit everybody. They're all the same every time.
Yep.
What's your favorite food?
Oh, chicken burgers. I love a good chicken schnitzel burger.
Yeah. PlayStation or Xbox? I don't know if you game.
Xbox.
Okay.
Xbox. I know how to work the Xbox.
Okay. No one said you didn't. But
the people who know me will get that, because I'm hopeless with technology. Like, I'm a DJ, but anything else, I'm like, what? So yeah, I understand the Xbox.
Okay, so for someone to say they're hopeless with technology, but yet has basically a full-time job being a DJ, that is still kind of like, you are I say this in the nicest way possible, backwards.
Yeah, everyone who's close to me is like, you are just backwards. I'm like, yep. And the people that are closest to me will 100% get that. They'll hear this and go, definitely.
Like, yeah, full-time job with a side hustle. It's like, okay. And then not very good technology, but yet DJ full-time. Fair enough. But again, you can learn anything. So
yep. I could probably do it with my eyes closed now. So yeah.
Netflix or Disney Plus?
Oh, that's a hard one. I'm gonna have to say Disney Plus, even though I don't have it at the moment. But I feel like there's more variety on Disney Plus. Netflix has kind of gone a bit, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
and they take stuff off, and you go to watch it, and it's not there, and you're like, oh, come on. Whereas Disney, they keep it like.
Yep.
I do like it.
Well, Disney is the overlord of media, so.
Yeah. Agreed.
What's your biggest conspiracy?
Oh, ghosts. I mean ghosts and supernatural stuff. Or I could talk about that all day. I love.
You had an experience?
Yes, I've had multiple experiences.
Okay.
Even recently. So my boyfriend hates it. He's like, I don't want to hear it. And I'm like, but it's this person and he's just like, shh.
I agree, but do you think it's people that were in your life beforehand that are now around you? Is that how you see it? Or
definitely.
Yeah.
I think so, 100%. For sure. I've had like just different things happen over the years, and like I said recently as well, like I think like 2 nights ago. So I definitely think that's just people that I know. I don't feel uncomfortable, and like I don't feel like anyone's gonna get me. So
yeah.
And I have a cat too, and she's not freaked out. So animals are very spiritual. So she kind of waltzes in and is just like, whatever.
I am intrigued. What was your experience, if you don't mind me asking?
Recently?
Yeah.
So this is fun. The other night I was half asleep, half awake, and I heard footsteps. And I was like, is that my daughter? Like, what is she doing? And it sounded like someone was running around, like her foot, like someone little was running around. And I listened, and then it happened again. And I was like, So I called out. I didn't call out because obviously my partner was asleep. Called out, nothing. And I was like, okay. Got up, checked. She's passed out. Like, and I'm going, okay, I'm not nuts, I swear. And I'm looking around the house, and it literally sounded like a little person was running around. And it was enough for me to wake up and go, what's my daughter doing at 3 a.m? Why is she running around? What is she doing? Is she eating chocolate? Like, what is she doing?
Yeah.
So that was my most recent experience. But with this, I've had a little person around me my whole life. Like, I've always had this little come and go. I remember being a kid and, seeing this little boy and seeing him and being like, oh, whatever, and just sort of getting on with it, thinking he nothing. But yeah, he's kind of followed me, I think. Now I'm getting right into it. You got me going. But I definitely just think it's him. I definitely, because I don't feel uncomfortable. And something fell off the shelf today, and I was like, oh, can you not?
Does he have a name?
I think my granddad had a little brother who passed away. I think it's him. I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but I do ask him all the time. But I have a horrible memory too. My friends all know I have the memory of a goldfish. Like, I'll probably ask you the same thing 4 times. I think I have a feeling it was him. He drowned when he was younger, and I've often said to my granddad, like, I've had this, person. He's like, oh, it's probably, he drowned. So yeah, I have a feeling it's him, but I don't feel scared. So I'm just like, can you please stop moving my stuff and stop running around my house and waking me up? That would be cool. Yeah, so that's the most recent experience I've had.
Does your daughter see this little boy? Because that's like...
I think so.
Yeah.
I'll often hear her playing and she'll be talking away and it's like she's talking to someone else. And it happened in my previous house as well. Like I was like, oh, she's just, doing her thing. And like I've often heard, her go like laughing and giggling and carrying on. And I'm like, what are you laughing at? Like, kind of creepy, but I'm just like, as long as I'm not, yeah.
I have a 4-month-old as well, and she just looks past you. And then when she's in a dark, pitch black room, she is cackling away, laughing to herself, looking up in the air. You're like, fuck that. I'm not going in there. I don't need to go in there. We're moving house. Burn it down. We're going.
We're moving. See ya. Yeah. See ya. Yeah, no, I feel that. That's why I kind of brush it off. I just go, she's playing.
The day she turns around and goes, Mommy, there's a little boy there. That's it. You'll have to move house or something.
All right. Mate, you gotta leave. I've said it a few times. I'm like, okay, I know you're here, but can you just go away in the nicest way possible? So,
before we wrap this up, do you have anything to say to your ever-growing fan base?
My fans. Oh, I have a little fan base. I don't have a big one, but not really. No, just like thanks for your likes, and I love when they come up to me after a set and say I enjoyed it. That makes me so happy. Or I'll get like a message. So keep telling me. It's good. It's good to hear that they enjoy my music and enjoy watching me play. That's always such a nice thing to hear. And I'm always like, I wouldn't say, if you're struggling mentally as well with everything, I'm always a message away to my fans, I guess, because I think that's the most important thing. I do have a lot of girls as well, like younger girls, so I'm always like, oh, you ever need anything, I'm always here in that perspective. But thanks for listening to me and coming to my shows. That makes me happy. I love when I see them in the crowd and they're having fun. That's the most important thing to me.
You did say at the start that other DJs have given you advice, but do you have any advice for other females who wanted to get into the industry or are in the industry? Other than don't sleep with the manager?
Don't sleep with the manager. No, we might leave that out. Just set boundaries and don't be afraid to be who you are and play the music that you want to play, because don't be, be yourself and don't be a clone. That's the biggest thing. Just be you. I think that's the main thing that I was always told starting out. Just be yourself. That's the most important thing. And boundaries. Don't let anyone walk all over you, regardless of how big they are. Like, just because they're famous or because they've done this or they have this many followers, that they're still a person. They're still just your average everyday person. That's how I see it. That's the best advice, I reckon.
Well, as you said, be yourself. The world doesn't need another Tiger Lily. There's already a Tiger Lily. So
there's already a Tiger Lily, and she's done well for herself for what she's done, but there'll never be another Tiger Lily. So do your own thing. That's the most important thing. Like, definitely look up to her. I do. I feel like she's done well for herself. But yeah, just be yourself. Most
and to people who aren't following you, what do you have to say to them?
Why are you not following? Come on, follow me. No, we'll be friends. No. Why aren't you not following me?
Yeah, no, that's fair.
I'm nice. Like, I think I'm nice. I've been told that I have a bit of a resting bitch face, but then I'm like nice when you talk to me.
I feel like everyone has a resting bitch face. It's their driving face. When you drive past someone.
Oh, yeah, the driving face. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I love seeing people's driving faces. The concentration or the anger. I have bad road rage too, so that's always helpful.
TARYN, did I say that right?
Yes, you did. Yay!
Thank you so much for coming on.
No worries. Thanks for having me.